video 1 of week. God, what day is it? The 22nd? Week 2 of FRAGS Empire. My name is CJ. I am your Dungeon Master today / Space Master. Today we don't really have anybody on for part 1 of this. This is just me and Remore doing a one-on-one what happened in the time period between session 1 and session 2, because I will be having session 2 take place a couple weeks later. This is going to be a quick one-off thing that I'm going to upload to the YouTube channel, and then the main stream will continue as usual today. It might be only with 2 people, depending on whether or not Grim gets here. But in that period, if Grim does show up, we'll bring him into this, and we'll continue the main campaign from there. Right. Give me a few minutes. Just gotta close the door. Okay. Well, in that case, welcome to FRAGS Empire. Will this work? Right. So, Remore.
Yeah.
You, after your scavenging mission aboard the ghost ship Carthage, you and your crew sort of find yourselves without much to do. There isn't really a lot going on, and like you find yourself pretty damn bored as of late. What are you going to be doing around Haven in the 2 weeks in between?
So
You're doing what?
I think what my character's been doing is obviously avoiding most people really, because it's Haven. They don't really get on with many people apart from the corporates, so
Yep.
been avoiding people running around weapons and supplies.
Yeah, true. Okay.
The basic stuff.
Okay.
And just kind of browsing items and shops and all that.
Okay. So I need to think for a moment, because I now have an idea in the back of my head as to something that I could maybe do, but I need to figure out how I would implement it. You know what? Cool. Okay. I've got a general idea written out now. Amazing how quickly that happens, isn't it? Right.
Yeah.
So, as you are walking through Haven, I'm going to close that and start that. You're moving through Haven, minding your own business. The air and like dirt above and on all sides of you is a little bit unfamiliar, considering that you're a Nephilim. You're used to wide open skies and lots of people and like suspicious looks and glances from everybody around you, and you're not really getting that as of late. It feels almost a little bit. It's almost like you're feeling a little bit homesick. But anyways, as you're going along, you sort of find yourself. Is there any particular shop that you'd be looking in?
Just kind of like biomechanic upgrades and all that.
Okay. Okay. So you head into like a really. You find yourself going into a really dingy part of town. Like we're talking Whoa, like, you wouldn't be going in here if you weren't bored out of your damn mind and incredibly confident in your weapon skills. There is there are people with like their heads down and like weapons sort of at their side, knives and jackets sort of pulled over low over their heads. Um, okay, since you're Nephilim and you sort of were against the Kaltorns in the Great War, I would suggest I'd say make a culture roll for me. 3d6 plus culture.
You mean minus culture?
I guess, yeah. Just to see what you remember about Kaltorns and these particular types. Okay. So in terms of the Kaltorns, these people, you actually know these people, this group. They're called what's called the Dark Clans. During the Great War, the Kaltorns, when their homeworld was bombed basically into oblivion, they took cover in glass domes under the oceans. This particular portion of Haven that you guys are in was built under the ocean, yes, but it was also built deep under a mountain. If you guys head further north, you'd probably find yourselves under the ocean itself, and you might be able to get a glimpse of some of the destruction up above. But a lot of the people in Haven, even now, like 2 years after the Kaltorns have returned to the stars, there are a lot of people from these dark clans who still exist. People who have given up all hope about escaping. People who all they ever know and all they really remember is running and hiding and avoiding other people and other contact, hiding in the shadows and just being territorial and tribal. It's a pretty pitiful sight for you as a Nephilim to watch. Your once mighty competitors and fighters. Oh, somebody here? Oop, nope. That's just alien chatter in the background. Your once mighty competitors and like rival soldiers are reduced to this pitiful husk sitting in the corner. For the most part, you don't get any trouble all the way up until you reach the biotech manufacturer. As you open the door, I want you to make an awareness roll.
Plus one on that.
Oh, you got a +1 on that. Nice. Alright. And then I also want you to roll a survival, just in case. Okay, nope, you succeeded on this, so I'll tell you to roll survival in a second. So as you're moving through the crowd, somebody bumps into you. Like it's sort of like it's just a kid. He's got like a hood pulled low over his head, another one of the dark clans, and he's sort of like he bumps into you and sort of shoves you back a few paces by accident. He's like, sorry, my bad. And he just moves back into the crowds, but you feel distinctly there is now a lack of a credit, like a wallet on your person.
Oh, no.
He's moved into the crowd. Roll me a survival check to see if you can track him. Or do you even go to track him, is the real question.
Yes, I'm going to track him.
Okay. Roll me a survival check.
I definitely picked the right crit.
Yep. Okay. What did you roll? Let's see. That is 13. Jesus. Okay, I need to change music one more time. We're on Delric Freighter now. Right. So, you spot the kid moving through the crowd. He's like ducking his head and moving quickly. Seems like he thinks that you're a pretty damn big score. He's moving faster and faster and faster through the crowd until eventually he's sprinting away as he notices that you're following him. Actually, I'm gonna make a roll. Actually, to see if I can figure that out. Slash roll 3d6 plus, let's say 2, because he would probably have high awareness. Yep. Can you roll a survival check for me as well? Just because you're stealthing as well, probably. Yeah. Like, are you stealthing or are you just straight up moving through the crowd? Like, okay. Right. So he starts to move a little quicker as he notices that you're actually following him, and he ducks into like a portion of the spaceport that you haven't really been before. This place is more like a derelict, like a graveyard, than it is a spaceport. There are hollowed out husks of ships pretty much everywhere. It's dark, it's grimy. There are people like working on the spaceport, but most of the ships inside are like construction or salvager ships. The kid ducks into like one of a series of about 8 or 9 air vents in the side of the bay and just disappears. This air vent is probably big enough for a person if you really wanted to fit in, but you would probably need to make a bit of a tighter squeeze to get in.
Do I know where these air vents lead if they all kick the other to one place?
The entire planet of Haven is basically covered in these things. This could lead to anywhere of about 150 different locations.
Oh. I think I have to follow him because I've got no other ways of tracking him.
Okay.
Follow him.
Okay. Yeah. So you go into the air vents. These things are old. They're dark. They're grimy, and they're a little bit dirty. But this air vent in particular doesn't seem like that. It's actually got an iron ladder set in. It's not an air vent, you realize, but it's more a maintenance shaft. A place where people can actually climb up and into the vents of the station to work on them and commit maintenance. You see like a few like plasma torches and cutters laying on the ground nearby, and some other like general like wrenches and hydraulic stuff just sort of sitting abandoned in a corner. For something that seems pretty old, this is remarkably well kept. There might be an entire system of kids running through this place. As you move through the vents, the spaces get smaller and smaller and smaller, and the branch-offs get more numerous as you go. Can you roll a survival check for me to try and track him still? Three more?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
Ah.
You rolled a 9. Okay, re-roll that. Re-roll all 3. You're not actually rolling just one. I've become aware that a re-roll is all 3 dice.
Right, that makes sense.
Yeah, and lucky allows you to re-roll a specific one. Cool. This is 12. Okay. So you actually managed to keep track of him. They're like, even though it's a little bit of a dirty, dingy thing, there are still footprints and like prints from like a person moving through, sort of imprinted into the metal. Like it's a pretty dusty place, so prints get left pretty damn quickly. You follow these prints through about 18 different shafts, all of them interconnecting and winding. If you're going to escape this place, you would need to follow this kid now. There is no way out.
Right.
You keep moving through, and it gets darker and grimier and dingier until eventually you come out into an enormous vertical shaft of like pieced together wrought iron plates that just extend like a couple 100 meters up and a couple 1,000 meters down. There are like there's like a maintenance lift set into the side of the shaft that's like sort of working off of like plasma thrusters, like just sort of like a couple of them set into like various corners of the craft. Only like 3 of them. It seems like there was a space for a second, but that thing's gone now.
Right.
The kids' tracks end, by the way, at this shaft.
So is there any way up or down from there?
There are ways both up and down. It's up to you whether or not you take them.
Is there a way I can track him beyond this, or is that it?
That's pretty much it. You got to make a decision here.
I assume going upwardly to the surface.
Oh, hey, cool. We got Grim in the party now. He's
Whee!
joined into the Roll20.
So I'll head down, speaking for Jet. I assume that's where he's going to be going.
Yep.
But I'll kill him.
Yep. I'm just gonna, like... I'm gonna keep this going for another, like, 10 minutes then. Speed it up a little bit. So, you get into the lift, and there's, like... There's like space for a key card, but like as you moved through the vents, you found like a key card sort of just disposed somewhere in one of the corners, and you picked it up. So you activate the lift and you start like moving down. It gets very... It just rapidly starts descending at a rate almost kind of alarmingly fast. Like almost too fast for it to be comfortable. And then just suddenly stops in the, like, there's still a couple 100 feet down that way, but something in this thing's programming has stopped it right in front of a huge open vertical shaft, like horizontal shaft leading forwards about 200 meters. And then there's another ladder set into that wall that just leads up.
I'm gonna go down that shaft then.
Okay. So you move forwards and you move onto that ladder. It creaks as you climb. The iron on this one is significantly more rusted than before. But as you climb up, you make it with relative ease. The ladder itself doesn't... Actually, I'm gonna roll something. I'm gonna actually roll a luck check. Give me a second. I need to see... We'll say the ladder gets in roll. Okay, can you roll a survival check for me, just to see if you stay on this thing as it suddenly collapses?
Yep.
Okay.
Ooh,
Oh shit. Do you not have a single... Oh no. Okay, well... So the ladder... So as you reach one particular rung of the ladder, I'm gonna be nice to you here, because you only failed by one. As you reach the rung of the ladder and you push down on it, the entire bottom portion of the ladder disconnects and like falls down into the void. And there's like a full 3 seconds where you hear nothing, and then just a tinging noise from far below. And then nothing. You've got the ladder up, but you can't get back down now. Also, I'm gonna say, since you rolled poorly, there are several spaces in the ladders here. Like, there are gaps where some of the rungs have broken off, and like some of it's like hanging pretty haphazardly or like really heavily rusted.
So is there any way to get down? Because I have pretty high reflexes.
You would need to like slide down the wall. Like you need to find an item to plant into the wall and just like flag slice down. Like a full 20 or 30 feet.
I could just jump.
It would be very painful, is all I can say.
I'm not in between the ladders, because I'm sure there's going to be broken bits I can grab onto.
Yep. There are still rungs down there, but they're like rusted and broken, and several sections of the ladder have in fact fallen into the void now. It's just gonna be a whole lot more tricky to try and climb down.
Yeah. So, because in a new section of tunnel, can I tell whether he's gone up or down then?
He's gone up. The ladder itself has no way down. It just goes up. But you've already climbed up a few feet, and the ladder's just fallen to the floor.
Right. So I'm gonna keep going up then.
Okay. you keep climbing. There are a couple like times where you find yourself like, okay, that ladder just creaked a little too much for my liking. Okay, that ladder just like, hey, that rung just like swung out a few feet. Alright, just stuff like that. But since you're Nephilim, you have the reflexes to keep yourself going up. And eventually, you find light at the top. The light of, like, some old, ancient, electrical lighting, which is relatively rare nowadays. Nowadays, lighting is mostly done by plasma or other, like, lighting sources. Electrical lighting is really rare these days, and it's only really found in antiquity stations. You think this is probably an older portion of one of the stations in Haven that hasn't really been touched in a while. So I'm just going to turn this up. Cool. So, are you going to do anything, or are you just climbing up to the top, like, immediately?
I'm gonna climb up to the top, but I'm gonna like do the perception of the room.
Okay. Okay. First of all, make me a survival roll to see how well you stealth, and then make me an awareness roll to see if how well you spot the stuff inside.
11's a pass.
Yep. So you stealth up to the wall, or like the floor of the space, and you don't really hear anything. Just general like. You do hear you hear like the clanging of metal, like of machines up ahead, but nothing that would really tip you off that it was anything major. Might just be like another one of these vents and another one of these little rotors. And then I want you to roll an awareness check. Yeah.
Awareness. Okay. What's one?
Okay. You wait and wait and wait, and just when you're not when you're sure there's nothing there. Hello there. What's your status? Nothing below, sir. Good. Carry on. And back to silence again. There are footsteps moving like forwards towards the ladder, and there are footsteps leading away.
Great, someone's going directly towards me. That's really fun.
Yep.
So can I get how quickly can I get to the top of this ladder without making any noise?
You're literally hanging from the foot of the from like the very top of the ladder. Like you're hanging into the void with like your hands against the floor.
Right.
You know, like spy movie, how you're in spy movies how they're like yeah.
So can I tell who this is moving towards me? Is it the person I was following or someone different?
Give me a. Ooh, what would the roll be for this? Maybe give me. Yeah, just like an awareness roll. I would say culture, but it's not really like trying to find out what about the Culturans. Okay. Okay, yeah, definitely. This is definitely a different person. Seems younger, male. Seems pretty nervous sounding. From his footsteps and how heavy they are, it seems to be a man of about medium height. He seems to be, judging by the voice matched to the height and the weight of his footsteps, you'd estimate him to be about 20 years old.
Yeah.
Also, from the as the footsteps get closer, you can hear like this sort of like brushing of something against the ground. You think that might be cloth? Maybe like a duster coat or a heavy or like a long coat.
Yeah. What are the chances of me taking him down stealthily?
You could do it easily. Just depends on how much noise he makes before hitting the ground.
Because I have invisible strike on this.
Yep. You can strike immediately as an automatic hit. Right, I forgot about how bullshit that is. Right, fair enough. You can do it. It just depends
Yeah.
on how much noise he makes as he's thrown into the pit.
He'd be fine.
Yep, yep.
Well, I'm not throwing him down the ladder. I'm just
Okay,
taking him
I
out.
was gonna say, like, if you're actually gonna
Yeah.
take him, like, by the legs and, like, Far Cry style, like, pull him into the pit, and just
No,
fling
no.
him downwards, that's a little chaotic evil right there.
It's a bit overkill. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is. I'm just supposed to be
Overkill is the best kill.
Oh, hi.
Yeah.
How are you?
Hi. I was checking to see if my microphone would work, and apparently it is.
It does. If you want to sit back and listen to this, I'm gonna be done in a couple of minutes. He's at basically the final
at-
room of this area.
I was gonna say I was gonna throw it on mute for a minute. Just ping me. I'm studying for an interview on Wednesday
Ooh, good luck. Yeah, sure.
Ooh.
I'll ping you when we're
It's for
ready.
Microsoft stuff. So just ping me when we're ready.
Cool, cool.
Shy.
Alright.
Shy. Then
Oh.
again, if this guy's going down the ladder,
Yep.
surely it looks like an accident because the ladder's already broken and rusted.
True enough. Maybe if you could doctor some of the body on your way down, that would be. It would be possible that it might have been an accident.
Sure, it's from in the pit.
Yeah, yeah. Oh wait, you're doing what? Are you actually chucking him in?
Body there. Yes, I'm chucking him in the pit.
Okay. So, you wait a few minutes. I'm not even going to have you roll for this because it's pretty much an automatic success with your invisible strike. You wait for a minute, and just as you hear the footsteps get close, wham! You sink like you whack him with the butt of your weapon. He drops to his knee like, oh shit! You grab him and you throw him into the pit by the leg. Or, like, how do you... I guess. Yeah, sorry. That's a little bit too railroady, but... I feel like
Yeah,
that would be
yeah.
probably what I would be saying.
Yeah, just kind of grab him by the column, by his close, just pull him in.
Yeah, fair enough. So you just like...
Head first down the shaft.
Yeah. You grab him by the foot, you, like, flip him and just drop him. And you hear, like, the sound of screaming for, I don't know, about 5 seconds, and then just a, like, heavy thud in silence.
Oh. Pretty.
You hear, like, heavy footsteps running from the hall beyond to go and check on what the hell happened.
Well, I'm going to stand to the side and let him pass me.
Okay, cool.
And then,
Are you already up on the
Yeah, yeah.
ground? Okay, cool.
yeah, I move up into the tunnel.
Okay, cool.
So,
So,
can I check who this guy is when he runs past?
yeah, sure. As you wait along the side corridor, a man, like, this dude's older. He must be about 40 or 50. He's got a heavy, like, long white beard and really dark black robes. And he carries what looks like a makeshift hatchet with him and a shotgun across his back. And as he passes by you, there's, like, a moment where he sort of turns to look back, like, did I see it? No, it's fine. And he just moves forwards, and he moves over to the ledge and looks over and he's like, oh, shit! There's been an accident. We need a medic over here. And he starts to run back towards the corridor.
Right, I'm going to follow him then.
Okay. So he runs into the corridor shouting like, medic, we need somebody now. He's still alive down there. He's in serious pain. He's knocked out.
Fuck.
And you hear like a bustle of activity, and I kid you not, about 30 as you move into this corridor, it's not actually a air shaft as you thought it might have been. Instead, it's a shelter, like a bomb shelter. This thing is like heavy rock, like concrete bomb shelter type structuring with like doors set in like iron like sliding doors in Imperial fashion set into every couple of feet along the sidewalls of this place. And as he passes by, there's like 7 or 8 what are they called? Ooh, crap, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're called Dark Guild or whatever the heck they're called. The people who sort of gave up post Kaltoran invasion. There's several of them that start like moving into the hallway, like looking to see what's going on and sort of chatting to each other excitedly and pointing back down the corridor as they talk. And he keeps moving and rounds the corner to the left and goes into a medical bay. The thing itself is probably bootleg. There's some medical equipment in there that hasn't really seen use since the Great War. Like, we're talking about, well, there probably is medical equipment that hasn't seen use since the Great War, but there's also like medical equipment that hasn't really been used since the Dark Times, and since the Pioneers brought everybody out of their hiding. So there's some stuff that's like 30 or 40-year-old tech here, just sitting against the corner. And a man, or actually no, I'm gonna say, yeah, actually, you know what, screw it. I'm not gonna do this just for the sake of inclusivity. There's a lot of female people in this area. There's a male doctor with like a really, like a light brown sort of stubble that sort of looks up as the dude you've been following enters, and he looks at him, and he looks like back down the hallway, and he looks back at him. He says, "I heard the screaming. What's going on?" And the other doctor, or like the other soldier, looks at me. He's like, "It's terrible. What is the name?" He insert name here has fallen like the full 40 feet to the ground. He's in seriously bad shape, broken bones everywhere. His rib cage is busted. Seems to be knocked out. I need some people to go down there and check on him. And the doctor's like, "All right, I'll see what I can do." And he calls for another name. Oh God, I need to try and figure out names here. I don't want to do this. I really kind of want to name a guy Dr. Cog. I feel like that's kind of a name I want to do. Though that's actually an NPC for this one. Let's see. Oh God, that sounds really bad, but sure, we'll go with that. And then... Sure.
Just call him Doc Brown.
Yeah, just give me a second. I've got 2 names. So
Yeah, Doc Brown, Back to the Future.
yeah, I've already got a name for him, but it's really bad. It's kind of awful. So a female Kaltoran in sort of like black robes appears around the corner. She looks at the doctor. She's like, "Dr. Thrift, yes, right away." And she looks at the other man. She's like, "Show me where he is." And the other man sort of looks at her. She's like, "Thank you, Jenna. Right this way." And he takes off back down the way he came. Are you gonna follow him?
No, because I'm looking for the kid.
You're looking for the kid?
Yeah, I want my wallet back.
Okay. So as
Who's
you...
that guy?
Yeah, fair enough. As you go down the hallway, the 2 doctors pass you, you start looking for the kid. Can you give me an awareness check?
Yeah. I'm just going to copy this command to use it so often.
Yeah, pretty much.
15.
15. Jesus. Okay. Wow. So you find the kid pretty damn quickly. He's sitting in one of the offshoot rooms, counting like a huge stack of your credits on the table. And he's surrounded by about 7 other kids. All of them like looking at him like really admiringly, like sort of grabbing at the credits and sort of just looking at them. There's a couple smaller like younger kids sort of playing in the corner with like blocks and other stuff. They're all like whittled from old tech, or like whittled from like old blocks of wood and support structures from this shaft. And the three main kids that have your money are like some older teenagers who just sort of look to be like the head of the group, just sort of sitting in the corner, like watching everybody pretty protectively.
Hmm.
And they sort of just look at all the kids playing with their blocks and sort of keep counting their money and talking amongst each other about what they're going to use it for.
Would it be wrong of me to lob a shroud grenade in there and steal the money and then massacre the children?
Sorry, what are you doing?
Well, I was planning on lobbing a shroud grenade in there for cover.
Yep.
So I'm already stealth, so it'd be
Yep.
more cover, so we panic and pandemonium.
Yep.
Steal my money back and try and grab other money while I'm going around, and then just kind of throw a couple
Okay.
of shots to build into the nest and see what happens.
Jesus, okay. You're planning on a mass genocide. Nice. So, sure, you pull out a grenade, and there is a tinging noise as you pull it from its holster, and several of the kids look up. They're like, what? And then you throw the grenade, explosion, smoke everywhere, people choking and screaming. You grab, like, some credits from the table. I want you to roll me a physical check, I'd say, to see how much you can grab.
Let's go. Yeah, okay.
Because that encompasses stuff like dexterity and acrobatics and stuff too.
12.
Okay. You grab pretty much all your credits off the table. You duck into the hallway, and the coughing quickly turns into screams as people, like, my eyes, and it burns, and like just people screaming from the corner. And pretty soon there's a lot of adults crowding into the room, like grabbing the kids and running into the hallway, yelling like, two arms, and they're like drawing guns from the walls and pointing them around looking for someone. I want you to give me a survival check to get away from this mess intact.
Great. Oh, please don't kill me.
Oh, they
Oh,
will
God.
absolutely kill you if they catch you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you deftly, like, duck and dodge your way through the corridor as, like, 30 adults with shotguns sort of, like, swing them around wildly looking for an intruder that isn't technically there. You pass by several people that are, like, screaming and crying and, like, just other shit going on. Just general pandemonium. And you reach the main shaft. Do you head down?
No, I'm gonna check what the other two that went down there were doing.
The two that are down there are just sort of like looking at the body, sort of flabbergasted, but they're not really doing anything.
If I jump down the tunnel and land on them, what's the chance of me getting injured?
100%. You'd take like at least 3 or 4 points of damage.
Hmm.
At this point, this shaft is like probably about 100 feet up.
I don't know how they got down there so easily. Should be hard to get down there.
Well, they are like dark tribe Kaltorans that are really skilled with getting around in dark places. They're probably pretty damn agile, I'd say.
I mean, I'm surprised they haven't started moving in the pandemonium.
Yeah, they probably can't hear it down there.
I mean, I assume I've got a pretty good aim on them from up here.
You have an aim on them? Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose I could, like, shoot them with the build-up launcher. You know, that's splash and it's, you know...
Oh
burning.
god, that's really horrible, but okay, you can do that.
3 for the price of 1. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That
Fair
way
enough.
I'll get a clean getaway.
Yeah, sure. So you're gonna make an
Right,
attack
yeah.
roll down there?
Yeah. Yeah, fire a few shots.
I'm gonna
down
roll
there.
something. Cool. Roll me a survival check. Okay. Cool.
I can reroll
So
that.
you can re-roll that. Yep. Go for it.
There we go.
Okay. Still, I'd say, yeah, it's a success with some kind of drawback. All right. You reach the edge of the tunnel, and as you reach the edge of the tunnel, your foot scuffs like a rock, and it flies down about 100 feet and smacks one of the doctors in the back of the head. He pitches forwards, and he also collapses, now unconscious. And the other doctor starts freaking out and trying to tend to him. Are you gonna try and launch something down on him?
Yeah, just go launch a hail of bullets down there.
Jesus Christ, okay. Make me one more survival check with a -5 penalty.
-5?
-5. You're shooting a like shotgun that's pumping like explosive acid rounds down a tunnel. I'd say that it makes a lot of noise.
Oh god,
Okay,
that's giving me a lot of noise.
you make a significant amount of noise down the corridor. One of the doctors looks up and is completely obliterated by bullets. The acid very quickly wears down the bodies until eventually they're just like puddles on the ground. As you make all that noise, 7 or 8 of the Kaltorans down the hallway turn to look at you and start running towards you. I want you to make one more 3d6 roll against like 4 or 5 of these.
With any what are you rolling for?
Just avoiding the projectiles.
So just blank 3d6.
Yep, give me a second. One more. You're gonna probably want a roll of 18 or better to avoid all this. Okay. You get absolutely pumped with bullets. I want you to take... Okay, sure,
I can
go
reroll
for it.
this.
Go for it. Cool. You still don't manage it, but you still manage to avoid 2 of the shots. I want you to take 3 attribute damage to any of your stats.
It's just permanent or temporary?
It's temporary.
Alright,
It'll
so
take
that's
some
cool.
rest to heal, as well as potentially, what is it called? Urgent care? A medical check, yeah.
Okay, done.
Cool. Alright. So I assume that at this point you're running away, you're going down that hallway and you're
I'm
dashing.
going down that tunnel.
Okay. So you climb down the tunnel, make your way into the like main corridor, dash to the nearest lift. There is actually another lift in this area, by the way, now that you're actually looking at it from this side.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the shaft, and it looks like it's just sort of waiting there. You catch the lift that you took, and you rush up, and you're back in the shaft, back in the air vents. I could have potentially had you find a way out if you had rolled high enough. I want you to make some survival rolls now. Give me 4 of them.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Whew. Where's the 4th? Which one was the 4th? The 4th is the 13, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the 4th is 13.
Okay. So the dash away from the shaft is incredibly tense. There are the sounds of Kaltorans like getting into the tunnels behind you as you go, looking for you, calling things out to each other, and like sort of chirps and like banging noises against the walls. And as you move through, you nearly manage to be caught by somebody who's looking the opposite direction, but he turns away just in time for you to continue going, and eventually you make it back to the main station on Haven. Your credits are returned, and you have all of your items. Cool.
Right.
So that is one of the more major things that happened to you while you were on your little break.
Yeah.
Cool. Let's get everybody else
I
back
got
into
to
the
the
room.
bar shop and then went to the doctor.
What?
I only murdered like
Couple people.
one person.
That's gonna have a few major implications for you in the future, but I'll just ping.
Any worse. I got full Skywalker. It's like murdered a bunch of children.
True enough.
Do our credits.
You killed a couple of younglings, but I'm sure that that's not very
Yeah.
bad at all. No, of course not. Yeah, you're not a mass murderer at all. All right, I'm gonna stop this recording and come back with the main stream.